I have 4 days left till I report to ICE for my deportation. I got a letter in the mail from ICE to come in on June 5th to remove my ankle monitor. They randomly called me in 2 days before to come in for a case interview. I complied, and as soon as I went in, they handcuffed me, threw me against the wall, grabbed all my stuff from my pockets, threw it on the floor, and they put all my stuff in a bag. They told me I have no appeals pending, my case is over, and I'm being deported. However, I did remind them that I was under the Zepeda case. They left me in handcuffs for about an hour to verify if that was true. After confirmation, they told me to come back on the 12th, which is in 4 days. The past few days, it has been really stressful. I recently found out that my wife is pregnant. And amidst all the craziness and the chaos, I gotta say this is good news. But then I start thinking, I won't be there for my wife. I won't be there to hold my baby when he or she is born. So when I think about stuff like that, it really makes me sad. My new family is being torn apart before it has even had a chance to begin. We will be calling the governor's office tomorrow, emailing them, calling them, commenting on their page. I really thank you guys that have been supporting me and my wife since day one. But I know regardless of what happens, I know it's gonna be alright.
TikTok, they are now deporting Asians. Please, y'all, stay at home. It's just not one group of people now, and it's never just been one group of people, by the way. It's not just dark-skinned people like Africans, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, and then they moved on to Latinos and Mexicans. It's now Asians.
Are these illegal immigrants is what I'm confused on, because I've been hearing reports of people who are legal being deported as well. And I know if I listened to him correctly, he said he had a case pending and he went to court, and then they've been snatching people up in the court process. If they're going to court, are they completely legal, or are they going through the process? And if I'm not mistaken, I think that means they're going through the process to get legal citizenship. Well, looks like ICE is saying, oops, that's a wrap. We don't care. You're in the midst of the process. That is over. We got to get you out of here. Y'all let me know. Let's continue.
There's so many Asian Americans so silent right now. That's because they didn't vote. Yes, they didn't vote because they didn't like Kamala from their internal misogyny or internal racism, and felt indifferent enough about the orange man so that they thought that a no vote was going to the orange man. The reason why they're not upset right now is because they voted for this. That's why. And that's not me excusing their behavior. I am a disabled person. I was advocating for Kamala before the election, so I had the chance to talk to a lot of my friends. They're not my friends anymore, but people in my life about how this election was going to affect me and people like me, and if they care about me, why they should vote for Kamala. And they still didn't care. They couldn't care less, because at the end of the day, it was all about taxes. Yeah, their tax break. The problem is, Asians that have a level of wealth feel this closeness to white people because white people were the only ones that had that level of wealth for so long, that they feel like they're getting a chance to be part of the white club, but they're not. And if I could give an insight into maybe why Asians are like this, it's because a lot of our parents, and even my generation as a millennial, we have seen our mother countries very impoverished. For me, I'm Korean, so I know South Korea's history. South Korea was fully bankrupt in the 80s and saw their first economic boom in the 2000s. It hasn't been that long, and they're in the top 20 GDP in the world now. That level of wealth growth, normal citizens see that and think, oh my god, if I'm just smart enough and if I invest correctly, I can also get there. And if you look at South Korea, it's an oligarchy. That country is ran by 3 families, and the main one is the Samsung family. And they have so many scandals. They have done some bad stuff, and the country just lets them get away with it. And if you look at the election turnout, it shows that South Koreans are starting to wake up to the state of oh, we're an oligarchy. But Korean Americans, look at the past of Korea, see that you can still succeed, feel like there's a privilege of being in America, utilize the model minority method, and then try to enter the 1%.
And she has a very good point. This is something that we've already known, how a lot of Asians, Koreans, everybody that's non-black tries to assimilate to white culture because that's what they believe is, much healthier and will yield them the best benefits. Nobody wants to be black. Nobody wants to be associated with black people because being black means bad. Being black means ghetto, all these negative connotations. But being white is positive because you want to aspire to and assimilate with the white people, because that to you or to most people means greatness, means riches, mean you're going to be accepted. What she's saying is no matter how you try to be accepted within that culture or group, you're not really being accepted like you think, and you could do everything in your power to believe that they're going to accept you as one of them. It never really happens. And I think that's why sometimes people are angry, and they get, they get mad in certain cases. And once again, I don't think it's everybody, but it's some. And then they tend to get mad at black people. As black people always get the brunt of the stick, because when we're just trying to live and survive, but a lot of black people get pushback because there are black and white relations. I said this before. There's a relationship between black and white people that some others don't understand. And they don't understand why, that if black people are considered the bottom of the barrel and they're the lowest, why do they have good work relationships with white people? I guess they wondering how that relationship was established when they're having a hard time establishing it. Y'all let me know. Let's continue.
They could break into the 1%.
Where the f are all the Asians? The thousands of Asians in LA either wanting to be an influencer in TikTok or are influencers on TikTok that have hundreds or tens of thousands or millions of followers. Like, you can't put down your matcha for like literally 2 seconds and speak out about what's happening right now. I go on TikTok, it's the same 4 like wonderful activist Asians on here, but everybody else just still, regularly scheduled program, my outfit of the day, going to another Korean barbecue restaurant. Like, the restaurant you're at is built on immigrants. This entire city is built on immigrants. Like, you went to UC Irvine, you got your marketing degree. I'm sure you took 1 humanities class, honey. Like, I promise you, if you just don't post 1 TikTok dance and you take 30 seconds to speak on children getting ripped away from an elementary school graduation, people being locked in the basement of federal buildings without food or water, the National Guard being deployed on your city. Like, I know that, like, shame doesn't work on you. Like, nothing works on you because you've had to create this shell. But, like, your $600 post that you're making for tummy tea is not going to save you here. You're scared of, like, your brand getting tainted, or, like, you won't be able to get brand deals. Like, with the rate that information suppression is going, like, you won't have TikTok to sell your boba flavored protein powder on here. Like, you won't have the time, you won't have the platform to do so. Like, your parents or your grandparents came here for a better life, and then now that you have a better life, you've already forgotten the context as to which you exist in this realm. What is happening needs to be stood up against. Like, you are the people that are populating the Capitol right now.
Trump said he was out to get migrant criminals, gang members, people that are taking the jobs. But ICE is waiting non-criminals, family men and women who just put their head down and work. The kind of work that nobody else wants to do. It's like below minimum wage. The kind of work that has them working around the clock, that doesn't allow them any extra hours to go to English classes because they're providing for their families. But not only that, it's the kind of work that Los Angeles is built on, that everyone living in Los Angeles benefits from. And you call people that are talking about these issues trying to earn pity points? They criticize a criminal president who shouldn't even be president?
I hope you keep those opinions to yourself because it's embarrassing. That's all it is.
I mean, I wish you had taken your own advice, because to be talking like that as this is happening, that is a depraved form of humanity. What Korean church we going to? Not to mention the legal citizens that are getting swept up, catching strays for Trump's mass deportation agenda. Did they send you a plaque that said our model minority? Is it hanging in your wall?
Yeah, I think it's crazy for people who are legal. I don't think that they should be bothered or arrested. I think if you're legal, yeah, that shouldn't be happening. Let's continue.
And so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals.
Sir, you look like the immigration issue you're ranting about. So the projection is wild because you look very illegal.
Asian people aren't really dependent on, migrant labor.
The loss of immigrants has the potential for a full economic collapse because of significant GDP reduction, labor shortages, increased prices, reduced consumer spending and demand, and billions lost in tax revenue. An economic collapse affects everyone. Immigrants make this country thrive.
This presidency promised that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying? see it like these immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and, say what they're really thinking. Deport, right? Deport illegal immigrants.
He is the embodiment of the model minority, which was created to pit Asians against other marginalized groups, rewarding obedience, silence, and hard work with crumbs of white approval. And he ate that up. Tap dancing for people who don't even want you here. No matter how hard you try to prove you hate yourself more than they ever could, and try so hard to distance yourself from the very people who fought for the rights that you now leech off of. You can grovel all you want for white validation, but you'll never earn validation from the same people who call you Kung Flu and China virus. Remember that? Kung Flu and China virus? You are not native. So how do you think it is that you were able to come to the United States? You think it was the whites who just kindly handed you an invite into our country out of the kindness of their heart? No, you got here because black and brown people, far braver than you, bled in the streets. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 made it possible for you to live your American dream as the oppressor's lapdog. You're welcome. The people brave enough to fight out in the streets are the same people keeping you here. That fight going on right now is again a fight that you will benefit from, just so that you can parade around like you earned those rights when you have never fought for anything in your weak little existence. Not your people, not your dignity, not even yourself. But be careful, because if they deport all of the people who fight for our rights, you might find yourself in an internment camp, because who's going to fight for you? You don't even fight for yourself.
Now, I'm seeing this question pop up a lot. Why is the Asian community so quiet? Now, I'm not speaking for all Asian people, but this is just my point of view. My family's from Laos. My parents spent years in refugee camps before being able to come here legally. So a lot of us from a very young age was taught accountability. We were getting lectures after lectures after lectures on doing the right thing. Getting our ass beat for doing wrong things. So there are a lot of Asian people that are for deportations of, illegals. And not everybody, okay? Not all Asian people are for it, but I see most of us are. And we understand why you want to come here illegally and skip the process. People just want to live good lives, do better for themselves. But there is a right way of doing things. So if you do come here illegally and get caught, you need to take accountability for your actions.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing I'm saying. I think it's a slap in the face to the people who went through the process, who had to go through the hardships of getting legal status. And of course, it's illegal to come into this country illegally. That's a crime. Yeah, people are desperate for whatever reason, and they want to come here to try to make a better life for themselves and their families. I understand that. I get it. There's a way to go about it. And then when you have a situation where we're overcrowded with illegals, that is not helping the situation. It's a lot of variables that go into this that makes it not okay. But I think if you come in the right way, where you become a legal citizen, where you do have to pay to be here, then it makes more sense, because you're not only taking, but you're contributing to the society as well. That's no more than fair. Let's continue though.
Well, a lot of times if you see an Asian person get deported, we don't make a big fuss about it, because, they got to take accountability for their actions. And they know that. We don't have hate towards law enforcement, because, they're just doing their part. They're just doing their jobs because they didn't do their part. And we do feel terrible about, or at least I do feel terrible about, families being ripped apart.
Yeah.
But, they know the risk involved, and they were willing to take that risk. Again, you got to take accountability. And a lot of people refer Asians as, model immigrants, because, we are here to better ourselves, get an education, respect law and order. We just don't want any trouble. We want peaceful lives. And so if we do get in trouble for something that we did, then we own up to it. That's it. So my heart does go out to the families of the deported. Hopefully they can find their way back, hopefully legal, so that they may, live peaceful lives.
Ajma here. Reading the news that there are potentially up to 150,000 Koreans in the U.S. That are vulnerable and potentially a target for deportation. and that includes adoptees. I would very much like off this timeline, but we're going to do what we can to be prepared and to be kind and to not panic. And no matter what, we shall be kind, and we shall try to do our best to do everything that is right with the universe. The arc of justice is very, very long.
All right, you guys. So listen, y'all chime in. Let me know what you think about Asians, Koreans, all these people being deported. Are you on the side of taking action against illegal immigration? Or do you feel some sadness or, behind these people getting deported? I want to know your thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell. Y'all know what it is. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.